Back to another episode of Scoville Scouts. If you've seen the internet sensation Hot Ones, you know what we're about ready to do here. We've got 10 wings, interesting guests, and a whole lot of pain and suffering. So, with me tonight is a long-serving civil servant, former Hamilton County Commissioner, and City of Cincinnati Councilman. Welcome, Glendale resident Chris Monzel.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right, before we begin, I want to address your background and your education. You graduated from Moeller, top of your class. You have a degree from Purdue in aeronautical and astronautical engineering, a master's in public policy from Harvard University's John F. Kennedy School of Government, and you attended the University of Cincinnati at night and received the degree of Master of Science in Engineering. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to eat some chicken wings, but I'm wondering, with your vast knowledge, have you done anything to prepare yourself for tonight?
No, I have not. I've asked my sons, who are big chicken wing eaters, what to do, and they said about drinking lemonade to kind of help with the pain. So we'll see if that works tonight or not.
And we've got you lemonade there from Cane's as your lifeline.
Yes, I appreciate that.
If that helps. So
thank you.
All right. We are going to start off with the first wing. It is the Hot Ones Classic. If you've ever had Frank's Red Hot, that's about 450 Scovilles.
Yep.
This is 4 times hotter. This is 1,800 Scovilles, so the Hot Ones Classic.
Okay, on the left. Thank you.
With all your years in public service, what accomplishment are you most proud of, family excluded?
So for me, having served 10 years on Cincinnati City Council, 8 years as Hamilton County Commissioner, there's a lot of things that we were able to do. But I think the thing that stands out the most is the Cradle Cincinnati. When I was on the Hamilton County Commission, Commissioner Top Ortoon, he was an advocate for infant mortality. They set up a task force to look at ways to try to reduce that. And I joined with them in a bipartisan fashion to come up with funding to make sure that we could pay for this institution, which launched Cradle Cincinnati, which goes out and helps reduce our infant mortality rate in Hamilton County. We had one of the highest ones in the nation, and we were able to reduce it in the first 5 years by 15%. And so to me, that's literally saving lives and going out there and doing something. And we did it in a bipartisan fashion, which I think is something that's missing today in government. So,
yeah, and that is awesome. I do remember Hamilton County as being one of the exceptionally high infant mortality rates at the time. Mm-hmm. In fact, larger than many other countries, mm-hmm. as I remember. So, I do. All right, first wing down. Let's move on. The next one is the Heartbeat Pineapple Habanero. It's 12,200 Scoville. All right. I have to ask you a question about the Scouts. With the recent bankruptcy of BSA, is there anything political leaders can do to maintain programs for youth? Because both money and volunteers are getting very hard to come by.
So when I was on Cincinnati City Council, this was something that was very important to me. We had a Cincinnati Recreation Commission, CRC, which I fully supported, as it gave alternatives for youth to be able to get involved in programs. They ran the swimming pools and the parks within the city of Cincinnati. So to me, I think that was a great partnership and something that really added to the quality of life for our citizens. And now living in Glendale, we don't have as much money within the village budget there, but we do have a Glendale Youth Sports, which is something I think is really important. It is more motivated by volunteers and community members, not really government funding, but still it's something in place to get youth the opportunity to participate in soccer, basketball, baseball. I had an opportunity to coach both basketball and baseball, and to me it's just a really another institution that, working with government, working with the community to be able to offer those opportunities for youth are really important, I think. And I think we need to figure out ways to keep partnering with those institutions like the Scouts and various athletic organizations to be able to give those opportunities. So kids are actually involved in doing things, because the least, least idle time they have to get in trouble, they can be involved in productive activities that actually helps, prepare them for life.
What age groups are you coaching in basketball and baseball?
Well, right now I'm coaching my youngest son, who's 17. So I have the the high school age. So we say we're kind of more just there to make sure nothing kind of goes out of hand with the older, more trash talking type of activities that could occur. But I've coached them ever since. Wow, I think I started with my daughter at Pee Wee soccer, where I held her hand going around the field while she was trying to kick the ball, and then my middle son I coached as well for basketball through grade school ages. So, but yeah, it's been a great experience to be out there.
I coached 6th grade girls basketball, and that was an interesting experience. It's more of a social thing than a physical game, and it was interesting. So, all right, moving on. Next up, we've got High River Chiba Gold Barbados style Scotch bonnet. It is 25,300 Scoville.
Okay, we're stepping it up here. All right.
A little bit. Now, I know you're a member of Kappa Sigma back at Purdue, and yes, I have the pictures to prove it. Is being a member of a fraternity anything like being a member of a political party?
It's actually more like being a part of a family. So living in a fraternity, we had a house. We had about 80 members that actually lived inside the house. It's almost like your own little community. Because you had various people from various backgrounds and coming from various areas across the country, and trying to be able to get along with each other and live with each other. It's really just learning how to live in a community, just on a very micro level. And to me, that it was a great experience to be able to try to solve problems, conflict resolution. I mean, it's all those skills that you need to have in any community. And so being able to do that was, I think, very beneficial. But also, it's just more family-oriented than is more a political party structure where you're kind of following some, political ideology. You have all kinds of walks of life in the fraternity: Democrats, Republicans, Independents. People that just came from different parts of the country. That was really just interesting to try to come together and be able to live peacefully and coexist happily. And not all the times, you definitely had issues that bring up, but it really taught us what community was all about. And I think it's really important to be able to do that, which was very helpful for me and my government experience in trying to help improve our communities and be able to resolve those conflicts that happen. So I think it's a good experience.
Have you maintained any of those relationships from your fraternity?
Actually, yes. Yeah, I've been in a few weddings of some of my fraternity brothers and still in contact. One of them I was just talking to a few weeks back. He's moving down to Knoxville, Tennessee, so he's going to be a little bit closer. So, but yeah, we still keep in contact. Facebook is always helpful to keep up on what everybody's doing. But yeah, we have been able to. That's been over 30 years ago. So it's really good to keep in touch with them.
And the same thing, building relations not only within a political party, but just serving on the commission or serving in city council. Some of the relationships and stuff you forged, even as other people have moved away from city council, do you still maintain contact with them as well?
Yeah, especially through Facebook, and keeping up with folks that I had served with. It's always good to kind of see how they're doing, especially when you're down there, you're actually learning about their families, learning about their activities and what their interests are. So it's not just politics and, you're for me or against me or, it's they're people and they have backgrounds and they have families and it's really neat to see, catch up with them and see how they're doing. So.
All right, if you look at this next wing, it is not burnt. That is actually the Bravado Spice Company Ghost Pepper and Blueberry. It's 28,000 Scovilles, but the blueberry makes it look like it's a little burnt, but trust me, it is not.
Okay, blueberry, that's gonna be interesting.
All right, going back to being a rocket scientist, with your engineering degrees, why did you pick politics? And I know with the county there's a lot of engineering and stuff that's involved, but.
So, it's something that I actually grew up with my parents, my mom and dad. We're very involved in the community. In fact, one of my earliest memories of my mom was she was the den mother for my older brother's Cub Scout group. and she had all the, the whole den, pack over for some craft making thing, and I just remember being there in the middle because I was 5 years younger than my brother, and but I just saw this service that she gave, volunteering, not only there but at our school, always involved, and the same with my dad along with her, and seeing that example showed me that you need to give back to the community. We've been given so much. I've been blessed so much to grow up here in this area, and just that we are called to serve and to give back to those and make the community better for not only us, but also our children and their children. And so for me, I had that example throughout my life from my parents, and then, moving on through high school and into college. To me, it's just, it got me always interested in being involved. And I actually had a chance when I was in high school, my junior year, I participated in youth and city government, where I had a chance to go down to City Hall and spend a week learning about how Cincinnati city government worked. I thought it was incredible. I was like, to me, local government is where you see your tax dollars being used, from the pothole being fixed to the garbage being picked up to your fire hydrant or police and fire department. I mean, to me, that's where all the action was, and I loved it. It was like, this is truly helping out my neighbors. This is helping out our community, and that's what I wanted to do. So I've always wanted to keep it, involved. And to me, I viewed it as more of a public service, community service, than I did actually as a career, because I always was an engineer at GE and always kept that, because to me, I think it was important to have that perspective of that this is to be public service, it's to be involved in helping community, not to be some career that I'm going to be doing, to make money off of. To me, it was just, I didn't care what office I had, and just give me, the chance to go out and serve and help people. And that's what I wanted to do.
Awesome. All right, up next is wing number 5. This is Hot Ones Los Calientes. It's 36,000 Scoville, so.
All right.
Starting to jump up.
We'll give it a shot.
All right. I do want to talk about the current political culture and how toxic it has become. Is there anything we can do to repair this? And how do we work together to get things done for constituents? And as a follow-up, how much of the media is actually kind of pushing for this?
So, that's something that's really been on my mind lately, especially when you've seen all the dysfunction, the toxic environment, especially within government and the kind of political sphere. I remember being on Cincinnati City Council, and there were people that were just diametrically opposed to what I believed in and what they believed in. But at the same time, I respected them. I knew that they thought what they were going to do was the best thing for the community. Even though I disagreed with them, we could have a civil debate. Don't throw anything personal in there. Don't bring up things, personal attacks, but keep it to the facts. Keep it to what we're debating. And then afterwards, be able to go out and talk about our families. Be able to go out to have a beer and be able to sit down. And I think that's what's missing today. That we have to be able to agree to disagree without being disagreeable. And I think people just are going to extremes, because that's what gets the sound bites. I mean, this thing right here, right? That's what people are focused on, and whatever gets them attention on that is this extreme kind of statements and extreme ism that's being driven. And I think the news, unfortunately, has contributed that to effect, because that's what they're airing, right? What they're going to put on the news is going to be that most extreme statement, instead of somebody in the middle who's really just trying to compromise and build consensus and try to make sure we get stuff done. They're now focused on these extreme characters who are out there getting that soundbite that gets people upset, gets people ratings, gets people calling into talk shows, gets people watching their cable news network. To me, that's really not helping the situation. I mean, we need to be able to have a civil debate, to be able to put our points of view. And, if my point doesn't win that day, well, okay, I'll have another chance. And it's kind of like with coaching, right? We didn't win today, or we messed up on this play, it's the next play. And you try to figure out what you want to do next to keep moving the community forward. And I think that's what's missing in our politics today, is that being able to be civil with each other and respectful. And I think when I was at the county, we really had that. It was a very business, professional decorum that we had with each other. I mean, I can rarely even think of the number of times that Commissioner Portune and I would actually really disagree. And it was only a couple times. But afterwards, we'd have shared joke, or we'd talk about high school football, or some other conversation that we were able to do. even though we were adamantly against each other 10 minutes ago in the meeting. But I think that's what's missing today, is to be able to set that aside and say, hey, we're here for the good of the community, and we need to do what's best, and be able to be civil about it and professional.
It's funny you mention extremes, because we're getting ready to go to the back half of these wings, and it's about ready to get extreme. And we'll do that right after this break.
Leaves us with the next item on our agenda is item number 5, opening session.
I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. If you're out here at the parade or listening, thank you again.
Into the end zone, and that is caught by Jaden Wood.
Come on now, how we doing? Y'all feeling all right out there?
Hello and welcome to this edition of This is Glendale. I'm Bet Chorus.
Hey guys, this is the Unit 1 crew from Woodlawn Fire Department. We just want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And of course, you can always go to ICRC-TV.com.
Always a great day when ICRC is involved.
Another edition of ICRC, bringing the community to you.
All right, we're back for the second half of the Scoville Scouts. We're coming down the back half of the wings. So we've already had sauces 1 through 5. We're getting ready to start sauce 6. And this is the Torchbearer Garlic Reaper sauce. Ooh. It's coming in at 116,000 Scoville. So we've jumped from 36,000 to 116. So
Okay, all right. You can hit.
Now, let's go back to Moeller. Did you play any sports, any at Purdue? I have to ask because I couldn't find anything. But based on the fact that you're taller than me, I thought you might. And I know you coach baseball and basketball in Glendale.
So I only ran track when I was at Moeller for a couple of years. I wanted to play basketball, but I just wasn't tall enough and to pull that off. But I did not play any sports at Purdue, but definitely highly involved with my family sports and participating, coaching them, so which has been a lot of fun.
Awesome.
That was hot, actually.
We're on the back half, and it's going to continue to get a little bit worse as we walk this path. But
okay,
the answers tend to get shorter. The time in between gets a little bit longer.
Okay.
But, and that's going to bring us up to this next wing, which is new. I have yet to try this on the wing. It's a show favorite, but it took me a long time to find it. It's Da Bomb Beyond Insanity sauce. It's 135,600 Scovilles.
All right.
And it's a smaller wing. So.
Thank you. Thank you for that smaller wing.
I know you went to Moeller. My kids go to Princeton. What is the best plan for saving public schools? Should public funds be more available to private schools? What are your thoughts there?
So I think we definitely need to address the public school funding issue in the state of Ohio. I think it's we really need to look at, from a holistic standpoint, how we best, educate the child. And it's almost like Elon Musk uses the first principles. I don't know if you've seen him do that. Where you kind of look at what is the basic fundamental things that you need to accomplish when you educate a child, and how do we build that and make sure that we're funding it. And to me, I think it really starts with our local school districts. And Princeton, has done a great job. And it's kind of like what they did with COVID, right? Each individual school district did it a different way. And at Princeton, they had a hybrid system. Some others, they did a different way. So to me, I think that's how we have to address what school funding is, really focusing in on what works best for the individual school district.
Is any of that helping you with the malt or the?
I
know your kid said lemonade.
Yeah. So right now, none of it's working. I'm just trying to figure out mix and match. But that was eye-watering. That was an eye-watering one.
Yep. All right. You ready to move on? Careful around your eyes.
I know.
All right. Up next is wing number 8. It is the Dingo Sauce Company Widowmaker. It's actually made in Australia, which is bothersome because, like, Australia is a place where most things can kill you.
Yeah, yeah. Whew.
It's 682,000 Scoville.
Wow. Yeah, one bite.
I want to talk about your volunteer work. The work with the homeless in California, the foster kids in New York, and your time spent in Minsk, Belarus. What has been your biggest takeaway from each of these? And is homelessness a problem we can fix?
So, I had an opportunity, which, we're really blessed to be able to take 2 years and go volunteer. 1 year at New York City, working at a foster care agency in Brooklyn, Angel Guardian Foster Care Agency, and being able to really see the issues within the foster care system, which was to me, coming from Cincinnati, I wasn't really around it. So it was a great opportunity to really learn, how it worked, and just helping out I dealt with teenagers, and being able to prepare them so when they age out of the system, that they were either going to go to college or go, find a job and be able to try to help them learn independent living skills. So to me, that was just a great learning experience, just to understand that and the need for it. There's a great need for it. After that, we had a chance to go spend, and I did this, actually my wife and I were able to do this together. We spent a half year over in a homeless shelter, and it was a Catholic worker shelter in Oakland, California, and dealing with homeless issues. And to me, it was another eye-opening experience of just, what people were dealing with and how to manage it. We need to keep striving to get to a point where there won't be homelessness. I don't know if we'll get there, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't stop and try and to really acknowledge, those individuals who are suffering, and trying to help them with what do they need. And I know here in Hamilton County, we have 3 homeless shelters that we've put up for men, for women, and for families, which, is just a tremendous, I think, asset to our community and to the people, the taxpayers who pay for it. I mean, to say that this is very important. So for me, that was a great lesson to learn and to be involved with that. And then having this opportunity, we got to spend a semester over at Minsk State Linguistic University in Minsk, Belarus, and really learning about, what is happening in foreign countries. I mean, I urge anybody, especially, younger people, go live outside the United States for a period of time. And you get to realize just what benefits that you have by living in this country. And to me, that by itself was just a great learning experience. I mean, right now, Belarus has been in the news because they've been under a dictator who was there when we were living there. He had just gotten in power within a couple of years. And just to see and to experience that, basically very much like the Soviet Union, was just a great experience, being able to take that back and be grateful for all the freedoms that we have here in America.
When was it that you were over there?
We were there from February 1995 to June of 1995.
Okay.
It helps to talk.
I know. It's when you stop.
So I'm running a bit off the cuff here, so I appreciate you're not getting a chance to talk too much. So.
Yeah, when you're not talking, you get to sit there with the suffering going on, and it's pretty rough. We're coming to the end. The good news is we got 2 weeks to go.
Yeah.
And up next is Mad Dog 357, the 25th anniversary edition.
25th?
It's 1 million Scovilles.
Wow, 1 million. That's a lot. All right. Try it. That's hot.
Yeah, that one's hot. Okay. I attended the U.S. Naval Academy, and I was amazed at the access we had to political personnel. I remember meeting Margaret Thatcher, President Bush, President Clinton, as well as several Medal of Honor winners. Who have you met in your career that has most impressed you?
It's kind of interesting. I had an opportunity to meet a lot of different individuals, and to me, I've actually been impressed with those people that aren't famous. And there's one here within the Princeton School District. Her name's Susan Widener, and she runs the Princeton Closet. She's on the Princeton School Board. And it's just amazing to see this individual who's spent her whole life helping out Princeton School District. She was a teacher in it. She's on the school board. Her husband was on the school board. and she sets up this prison closet where she gathers school supplies and clothing items for students in the Princeton School District. To me, just meeting individuals like that is impressive, to see how involved they are in their community and how much they care and they give back.
Awesome.
That one was tough. That one was tough.
That one's really bad. What's even worse is now we're jumping from 1 million to 2 million. And with what they call the last dab, which is traditional, to put a little extra on the wing.
Yep.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
I'll put a little dab.
Okay.
A little dab. Not much. It's barely coming out because it's so slow. Okay, I'd put a little. Whew. Hold on. All right, last one.
All right, last one. Cheers.
Cheers. Wow.
All right, that is it. Congratulations, Chris. Now's your opportunity to tell everybody at home, on the internet, anything else you'd like them to know.
Well, first, Mick, I just want to thank you and the Scouts for giving me this opportunity to literally burn my mouth off, but for all your work that you do in the community. I mean, it's just incredible that you know, the troop, and for all the great stuff that you provide to Glendale, and the example that you set. I think it's huge. And so I'm always a huge fan of Scouts. That's why I wanted to come on, make sure that you know that you're supported, and that we appreciate everything you do for our community.
No problem. No regrets at this point?
Not yet. I'm still trying to get this last one down. It's a bit difficult.
Yeah, it is. It is rough. Now, I know you're working at GE.
Yep. I've been there, on and off since 1987. So, definitely had a great opportunity there to do a lot with our jet engine. So,
well, and I appreciate everything you said about the Scouts. Finally, anything about the family, your kids, their advice that they gave you for coming on here?
So the lemonade really helped. So that was my middle son, Jacob, who's 20. So he suggested that. And then, the bread also was very helpful to kind of break it up a little bit in the milkshake. So, but no, I'm glad I made through and really appreciate the opportunity to do this.
Great job. Congratulations.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you.